We were married about 4 years ago, and at that point I wanted to continue the practice that I had from before we were married and introduce an icon corner at the heart of our new domestic church and start praying the Psalms, which I'd been doing for years. And so we did that. We brought some images in and found a space that could be a focal point in the home. We have Christ on the cross and Mary and the saints. And then outside that we have photographs of our loved ones, of our family. And that became the focus of our prayer.
Well, when we got married in 2022, I knew David was an artist, and I was absolutely delighted to have him bring his paintings into the home we moved into and decorate really the entrance hall of the house with his sacred art. What was new to me was the practice of chanting the Psalms daily. And he introduced me to that, and he showed me how to pray with the Psalms and to pray also integrating the Psalms and the art. So I knew I loved each of those things, but it was a new experience for me to pray daily with my husband, chanting and meditating on the Psalms while being surrounded by the art of Mary and Christ on the cross. And it really began to shape our marriage and began to shape my entire outlook on life, because my home was now a place of prayer.
And also it became a way to become a point of prayer with our friends and people locally, because we do invite people in. We'd like to have people round for dinner, and quite often we will pray Vespers, for example, together and pray the Psalms together. And it's a lovely way to bring people closer and to form friendships in a new and different way for us. So that's been a great experience as well.
At first, when guests would come in, I would show them the icon corner, and I was so proud of David's art, and I would give them a tour of all of David's art. And it was interesting to me that after looking at the art and seeing David's art studio in the house, how eager and how happy people were to join us in the entrance hall, in the icon corner, and chant a psalm or chant the Our Father. So it quickly became clear to me that our home wasn't merely an art gallery or even an art studio, but that we were able to share with other people pieces of our home prayer life. And that really enriched the dinners with students that we host, family visits, and also other artists and musicians who come into our home see the way that we've integrated the artistic practices with our prayer life.
Yes, that's an interesting development, that because we got used to hearing each other singing, chanting the Psalms, it became a natural extension for us when people came round just to have musical evenings. And so we started to do that as well. Very often folk songs. I play the banjo, I should admit, and so I introduced that into our entertainment of others as well.
One highlight for me was when my brother came with his wife and daughter, who's in choir. She is 11 years old, and I really adore her. Well, because of the singing in the home that David has introduced me to, I rejoined the choir. Now, I say rejoined because I hadn't sung in a choir for 20 years. I was perhaps too busy with my work. But because we were singing our prayers at home, I wanted to participate in the manner that I could in the choir at church. So when my niece came, who sings in her choir, I brought her with me to the choir, and we sang together. And this was such a tremendous experience of bonding. Afterwards, we went back to the house, and we had my voice teacher, so I've now joined the choir, but also started taking voice lessons with somebody in the choir. He came over, and David's brother was also there. And what ensued after dinner was an at-home music jam with instruments, banjo, guitar, voice, and all of us joining in together. And so that fluidity, that integration, that moving between the sacred space and the home space, and participating in the Mass through singing, but then bringing that joy into the home with folk music, guitar music, really reminded me of my childhood, where we had music in the home. My mother played guitar, and where I sang at Mass. But somehow, these things, making music in the home and singing in church, had dropped out of my life. So I'm grateful to David and for these practices that he's brought into our marriage, for not only enriching our marriage, but spilling out into the students we work with and into our extended family.